Donington Park circuit in Leicestershire plays host to the next round of the Motorsport Caterham 7 270R Championship. This is a circuit that always produces spectacular racing, and with the slipstreaming action we've enjoyed all season long from these drivers, we're expecting much more of the same over the two races this weekend. James Murphy has nabbed pole position for the first race here at Donington Park with Tom Allen alongside him. Greg Monks is looking for his first victory of the year from the inside of row number 2. Well, we're ready to go racing then with a big grid of 30 cars set to do battle around the majestic Grand Prix circuit at Donington Park. Red lights on board here with Daniel French. He starts on row number 3, gets an okay start. It's fairly equal there amongst most of the front runners as they launch off the line down to Redgate Corner for the first time. Tom Allen on the outside line in the red and black car, but I think it will be the pole sitter Murphy that hangs on to the lead through the first right-hander. This is often the scene of calamity at the start of these races, but touch wood, everybody seems to have got through in one piece with no wheel banging for the time being. Now down through the grain of curves we go on board with Daniel French then, so he is 5th position. He's gained one spot at the expense of Neil Fraser off the line. Into the old hairpin they go, this absolutely fabulous sequence of corners. Again, very easy to get it wrong though, and most of the drivers appear to be minding their P's and Q's here on the opening lap, realising it's a long race and it's not so much your position on the first lap that will make the difference, it's where you position yourself going into the final few laps that will decide who comes out a race winner. Through goes Ollie Pratt, the number 74 car, another regular frontrunner still looking for his first win of the year. There are several drivers who potentially are on the verge of getting that first win of the season, just haven't quite got there yet. Coppice again, good battling right the way through the field, the entire grid of cars pretty much in one long queue, but we might be about to see our first lead change as Tom Allen drafts around James Murphy, goes to the outside into the chicane, but he's cleared the number 3 car before they even hit the brakes. Nice move there then as Tom Allen goes through. Tom, one time a winner so far this year. Daniel French, though, that we're on board with, has more victories than anybody else, 3 wins, and that is why he arrives here as the championship leader. He goes to the outside line, down at the Melbourne hairpin. One of the best overtaking opportunities on the circuit, this down at the bottom of the hill, and accelerate back up through the gears towards the final turn at Goddard's and to the completion of the opening lap, which looks like it will be led by Allen with Murphy second place. One change of position halfway around the first lap, but I think we'll see plenty more before the race is done. Ollie Pratt there trying to gain ground on the exit of the final turn as they roar back across the start-finish line. At the end of lap number 1, James Murphy goes to the outside of Tom Allen again, trying to sell him the dummy maybe. Daniel French is into 3rd on this what's been a very successful first lap so far. And then the 36 of Daniel Halstead, a double winner already earlier on this season, but he's slipping behind now those podium contenders who already are starting to make a small break. Gravel and dust gets kicked up in the background, someone's run out wide, bouncing their way back onto the racetrack. No damage done though, thankfully. Oh, Tom Allen with a mistake at the old hairpin though, and this could be an opportunity for Murphy and Daniel French to find a way back past him. Murphy's got the lead back and Daniel French needs no second invitation. He's through into 2nd place, and this brilliant charge towards the front of the pack is nearly complete now for the number 77 car. Through the right-hander at McLean's he goes. Ahead of him is James Murphy, who is not really a factor in the championship battle at this stage of the year. 4 more races to go this season as well. So if Murphy does want to get himself into the championship equation, a race victory really is the bare minimum from this one. Down the back straight again, and here comes the challenge from Daniel French to the outside of James Murphy. This is exactly how Murphy got the lead from Allen a lap ago. This time it's Daniel French's turn to go round the outside, flings the car into the chicane, and he is now through. The next question is, will he be able to pull away? The answer is more than likely going to be no, but he'll do his best. He'll be watching his mirrors now, hoping to see the battling really starting to intensify behind him, which in a way it is, because early race leader Tom Allen has now slipped down into 4th position behind the number 36 of Halstead. So Tom Allen starting to fade slightly as French has now got his way to the front of the queue. There's the number 5 car, Greg Monks, who started 3rd. He too has lost a couple of positions from where he started. See here just how closely bunched the entire field still is. And remember I said there was a breakaway at the front? Well, no more. The top 3 have been caught once again, and we have another lead change with James Murphy making that look remarkably easy into Redgate Corner. Tom Allen there trying to get himself back into a podium place. Round Redgate once again, screeching of tyres as the Avon tyres on these Caterham 7 270Rs are really being worked overtime here at Donington Park. That was a nice move, wasn't it, from Tom Allen? Gets past Daniel Halstead then, back into 3rd position. was keen to get on with that because he could see the leading two getting away. Neil Fraser, meanwhile, hanging tough around the outside of the old hairpin, fending off Matt Shepherd. We ride on board with, once again, up the hill through Starkey's. The next left-hand kink at Schwantz. McLean's is a possible overtaking opportunity, but you don't do a huge amount of braking in these cars. It's all about carrying the speed through the middle of the corner. That means that most of the overtaking is actually done in a straight line rather than throughout braking manoeuvres at the end of the straights. There's number 11 of Chris Moore, the silver car with the yellow roll cage. Heading down the back straight past the exhibition centre, side by side for the race lead again. James Murphy coming back at Daniel French around the outside. He will lead them into the chicane. Tom Allen's caught them back up again, and Halstead seems to be a bit of a cork in the bottle for fourth position. Under a lot of pressure now as they head out of the chicane, down the hill. Daniel French peeks to the inside, but no way through, and behind is getting very, very close indeed. Almost contact there as Greg Monks was feeling the threat from Justin Heap behind him. Justin Heap is the man who is second place in the championship coming into this round, just 3 points behind French, the points leader. This was Matt Shepherd's start, meanwhile. And through the middle, from the sixth row of the grid, comes Lewis Thompson. Look at the number 79 car, goes from the middle to the inside line. And Lewis Thompson very nearly gets himself into about the top 6 or 7 turning into the first corner. Shepherd, meanwhile, sort of holds the middle ground. Running out wide to the left-hand side was Andy Morgan. And that was one more place gained for our onboard camera car. Now, Tom Allen is going back to the race lead here. First time he's led since the first lap, and he does it down at the Melbourne hairpin. That opens the door for James Murphy to come back up the inside of erstwhile leader Daniel French, but they've all had a turnout in front now, and all three of them practically together as they turn through Goddard's corner. Allen takes the defensive line on the way in. That will slow him down on the exit, and so the hope will be that Daniel French and James Murphy might be able to challenge him into Redgate corner. Meanwhile, behind, a little bit of paint being traded there. That was the 56 car going up the inside line, trying to get through at the Melbourne hairpin. That was Jim Earlham trying to get a place, and spectacularly, wings go flying. It's not uncommon to see those wings detach from these cars, but usually they come off in one piece. Sadly, that one will not be usable. Will be destined for the scrap heap, I think. So back with our top 10 runners. Here's a replay of what happened then as they went up the hill, and all of a sudden, an explosion from the right rear corner. No further contact to detach the bodywork. Very much a scary moment for the drivers following behind. Into the closing stages of the race then. Now down to the old hairpin comes Daniel French, who, as you can see, in the middle part of the race has slipped backwards slightly. So too has Daniel Halstead, who's heading that little trio of cars. This, though, is the fight for the race lead. Tom Allen, Greg Monks and James Murphy. They're the three drivers then that look set to fill out the podium places. Which order they'll be in, though, is anybody's guess, and quite frankly is likely to be decided at the very final corner of the race. Matt Shepherd's into fourth place then, and sort of on his own at the moment in that fourth position. Further back, we've got all sorts going on. Ollie Pratt there, the 74 car, trying to find a way past as it's three abreast for the race lead. Murphy on the inside, Monks in the middle, and Allen gets shuffled out down to third position. This is why it's so pivotal to make sure you're in the correct position, not even going on to the last lap, but maybe halfway or 2/3 of the way around the final lap. If you're out in front, you are a sitting duck going down that back straight. Monks now goes up the inside into the Melbourne hairpin, and I think has got to the front of the field once more. There's French in fifth position. Sixth place now is the number 6 car of Justin Heap, with Halstead, Pratt and Chris Moore behind him. Those three have caught the number 6 car substantially over the second half of the lap. Through then go the leading three once again. Any moves made into Redgate corner. This is one of the biggest braking points on the track, but no, they all stay in the same line. Turn through that sweeping right-hander. Crucial to get a good exit from there, because now you're flat out all the way down through Hollywood and the Craner curves. Oh, Halstead out wide, and that's going to leave the door open for Ollie Pratt behind him. Leaders, though, starting now to feel the pressure. It's down to crunch time now. The next move you make might be the one that decides whether or not you're victorious, or on the bottom step of the podium, or perhaps even off the podium altogether. They've kept it clean so far. Let's hope that is the case for the remainder of this race then. Greg Monks up the hill into McLean's, looking for his first victory of 2019. He would very much like to get that today. He's had a consistent season which puts him in the top half dozen or so in the points, but yet to taste the winner's champagne, and he's actually building a small margin now over Murphy and Allen. Now that could be a good thing. It might not be though, because they're going to get a real run on him down the exhibition straight. You can see Murphy closing in the slipstream. Allen's to the outside of him as well, but gets cut off. Murphy though can't get the lead away. So that was interesting then. Monks pulled enough of a gap through the preceding 2 corners. Down the exhibition straight, he wasn't actually vulnerable to attack from the cars behind. The same, though, is not true as we arrive down at the Melbourne hairpin. Murphy to the inside line. If he can stop the car, he should go through, but keep an eye on Tom Allen. He's taken the really wide line into Melbourne, comes off the corner quicker than both of them. Monks back to the lead, Allen challenging for second, and Murphy might have another pop at taking first place away into the final corner, and he does. They're 3 abreast into Goddard's corner. James Murphy on the inside line, he's going to go back ahead. Wonderful racing, inches between the cars throughout the previous sequence of corners, but no contact made, and that was the money move for James Murphy, who comes through to take the race victory. And what a victory it was. That is his first win of the year, and second place for Greg Monks, Tom Allen third, and Matt Shepherd, the man who misses out on the podium spot, still a decent 4th place finish for the number 80 car. Well, James Murphy had to work very, very hard for that, and he takes the race win, his first of the year. Greg Monks second, Tom Allen third, and Shepherd fourth, with Daniel French in 5th position, scoring some valuable points and outscoring Justin Heap, his big championship rival.
I was playing around a bit the last few laps, just trying to work out where I wanted to be at which point, and I got it absolutely right, and then I messed up the bit I meant to do, and then he left the smallest gap, Greg, at the last corner, and I kept it clean, and so I'm proud of this one. It's been a long time coming this year, so yeah, it feels great, it feels really good.
Yeah, that was hard work. Actually, Tom and James managed to pull away, and I just had to keep putting in some clean laps, and I could see the guys behind squabbling, but I managed to catch up, and then, yeah, it was anyone's race with the 3 of us finishing in the last 2 laps just together. It's great fun. Yeah, great race.
Yeah, it was super exciting. I think James and I sort of worked together a little bit to get away, and then Greg's black car was just looming up behind us, caught us up, and then it's really between the 3 of us to try and work for the victory. But I got a little bit mugged on the penultimate lap and got at the back of the group. So, but I'm really chuffed to get a 3rd and another podium, and yeah, a good starting spot for tomorrow. So have a good night's sleep tonight and sort of send it again.
Well, James Murphy was able to double up with a victory in race number 2 at Donington Park to move into 6th place in the points. At the top, Daniel French again outscored Justin Heap, so he's 7 points clear as we leave Donington Park. Well, a fabulous pair of races here at Donington, which means that going into the final round, just 7 points separate the top 2 drivers in the championship. The next round of the Caterham Academy Championship adventure brings us to Donington Park in the Midlands for what's sure to be another thrilling race for these drivers, all enjoying their first ever season of motor racing. The cars are about to head out onto the circuit for our first race with Tom Willis, 3 times winner and championship leader, on pole position. On board here with Adam West, who starts from the 3rd row of the grid in the 93 car. He pulls up alongside Peter Wales in car number 52. Blair McConaughey and Tom Willis are the top 2 in the championship in reverse order, and they share the front row of the grid for this next race of the season. This should be a fascinating battle between the pair. Lights out, away they go, down towards Redgate Corner in slightly overcast conditions this weekend at Donington Park. A good start made though by McConaughey, who really needs to try and take some points out of Willis this weekend, and that was the perfect start. He's on the outside line, but he sweeps through into the lead with contact further back though, and off in spectacular fashion goes Neil Henderson in the number 12 car, and sadly he's not alone. More cars deposit themselves in the gravel trap. Thankfully, though, it looks as though they will all rejoin, some of them in less than showroom condition, but thankfully no need for a safety car interlude. The top 2, as they've done on several occasions this year already, are starting to break away at the front of the pack. The 10 car there is Christopher McMahon, who we're on board with now, in the number 10 car, stuck in the midfield battle where things are always incredibly intense. Up the hill, through Schwantz Curve, these are some of the least powerful Caterhams we see racing over the weekend, but that means that the slipstream is all the more important. You have to try and stay in the pack of cars in front of you. Try and use that toe to pick your way up the order, which he's doing because he gets up the inside of the number 52 car there, of Peter Wales into Coppice Corner. Peter, the black Norwich car, started 5th, so he's dropped a few positions on this first lap. McMahon, though, heading the right way, he's climbing up the order and already has his sights set on the next little gaggle in front. There's George Hay, the number 21 car, who had that spectacular moment at Alton Park earlier on this year with an ambitious look up the inside of the 52 on Wales into the chicane. He's quicker off the corner, though, and tries to attack again down into the Melbourne Loop, where a leading 2 has become a leading 4 because the slipstream, which I said would be significant, has started to group everyone back together again. now with Adam West, who you saw making a nice switchback manoeuvre out of the Melbourne hairpin, incredibly relaxed as he heads up the hill, just adjusting the shoulder straps there, and moves over to the inside line to cover the position that he's just gained. It's a nice bit of driving there. Right, replay of the start. Let's see if we can pick out what happens here. Keep an eye on the white number 12 car around the outside. That's Neil Henderson. Makes contact with the 55 of Harry Hare. And then everyone else seems to go off in avoidance, really. Back to the race leaders, though, now. And Carl Jones is making a bid for first position. Carl started 8th, but goes up the inside of Blair McConaughey into the chicane. All runs wide onto the gravel, though, and spins. Oh, what a shame for Carl Jones. Adam West nearly followed him, but managed to save it. Unfortunately, that might be the last we see of Jones in this lead pack after what had been a really good drive. Sadly, he's dropped right down the order now after that big moment at the chicane. Adam West now has one of his own down at the hairpin, and so too, right behind him, did the number 33 car. That was Darrell Cresswell. Neither of them wanted to get out of that corner ahead. So down the hill then we go towards the old hairpin, where the second place battle is starting to get a little closer now between Blair McConaughey and James Fowler. Race leader Tom Willis, though, and points leader pulling away, and Adam West has finally lost control. That was sort of on the cards for the last half a lap or so, with a half spin at the old hairpin. It's rare that you can have a moment at the old hairpin and not hit anything, so he'll be quite happy with that, I think. On board now with Christopher McMahon, who had a run on the two cars in front of him through Schwanskirk, but they were side by side, so nowhere that he could go. The outside line there is the number 63 car of Nick Allbone, so he'll be one of the drivers he's trying to get past next, but closing in behind is somebody else, and that could mean that he's now under pressure. No, McMahon goes to the inside of both of them, and, well, he gets one position. He can't quite complete the manoeuvre on Darrell Cresswell, but he will be, I think, alongside him as they go down the exhibition straight once again. Brilliant midfield battling going on here then. Down to the chicane, who's bravest on the brakes. There are cars all around us here, though, so it's a job sometimes just to fit everyone through the chicane at the same time. Back to Blair McConaughey now, who's got James Fowler in front of him. This is the fight for second place. This is not really what Blair needed, because Tom Willis has started now to pull away out in front. The gap is nearly 5 seconds between first and second places. So Blair McConaughey now needs to try and limit the damage being done here by getting second place back away from James Fowler. Into fourth position now is Carl Jones, the number 11 car there, turns his way into the Goddard's hairpin, and then it's this scrap that we were watching just now between Darrell Cresswell and, well, everybody else really. On board with Adam West, who after that half spin he had has sort of managed to catch up to this group again, and running out wide there, unfortunately, is Darrell Cresswell. So Cresswell's time inside the top 5 relatively short-lived. The 21 car of George Hay now also joining in, looked third in line. So his chances of a top 5 finish might be on the up now. Red gate they go, and, well, you can tell in a way that these drivers are in their first season of racing, because they are wonderfully exuberant with the way they drive these cars around the track, and incredibly entertaining to watch. That, though, was a bit too exuberant for Darrell Cresswell. No damage done, but again, he couldn't find a gap back in the traffic and to rejoin the circuit, and he had to wait and keep driving down the grass slowly, and eventually gets back on the black stuff, having lost, what, 2, 4, 6 places or so. Blair McConaughey now then into the closing stages of the race is back into second position now, so things on the up for him slightly. But he's still going to lose a couple of points, it would appear, to Tom Willis, so the gap's going to go out ever so slightly in the championship. This is turning into the best battle on the track right now, though, really. There's George Hay, the black number 21 car, flings the car through the old hairpin. Nice line through the right-hander, tries to pick up the toe up the hill. Which is exactly what James Fowler is trying to do to Blair McConaughey here. Second and third places, a car length or so between them as they head through Coppice, and then we pick up the battle going on further back. So Christopher McMahon now is under pressure definitely here from George Hay, and behind that's Adam West having another big moment, I think, in the exit of McLean's corner. What order are these 3 cars going to find themselves in by the checkered flag? Probably not this one is the answer, because it does look as though maybe George Hay is about to make a move. He's closing in on Christopher McMahon into the chicane. It's not really an overtaking opportunity. This is, though, down at the Melbourne hairpin, but James Fowler isn't really close enough to Blair McConaughey to challenge on the way into the corner. On the exit of the corner, they're pretty evenly matched as well. Climb steeply uphill then towards the Goddard's hairpin, where the race leader, Tom Willis, who we've sort of forgotten about in the middle part of the race because he's so far in front, is about to take the checkered flag. Brilliant stuff from Tom Willis then. A much needed race victory. Blair McConaughey did everything he could. He finishes in second place to very much keep the title fight alive, whilst James Fowler will be third. Carl Jones will be fourth, I think. And then for fifth place, what's going to happen? There's George Hay on the outside line trying to gain one last position at the flag. Oh, and he loses it, George Hay. Oh, what a shame. Spins at the final corner. He was running in about 7th place, I think, there. That would have been a really well-deserved top 10 finish. But sadly, that was another example of that over-exuberance, I think. And he now can't find his way back onto the track. Does rejoin, but unfortunately, he will finish the race down in 13th place after what was one of his most promising drives of the season so far. Well, he was far from the only driver to make a mess at the final corner. It's a tricky little left-hander. Tom Willis, though, didn't put a foot wrong all race, and he comes home a race winner once more. And that will be a very, very good thing for his championship hopes. Blair McConaughey second, James Fowler was third, whilst Carl Jones and Nick Allbones round out the top 5. Great racing, but Willis was in dominant form.
Making it with Beckloff actually bolting to cross the line, but finishing a lap.
It was definitely frantic for the first few laps. Swapped positions a few times with Blair, and James was on the case in third. And then I managed to pull a gap. I think Blair and James started squabbling, so that gave me a bit of respite, and then I pushed on and didn't give up. I was trying to go for the fastest lap. Don't know if I got it, but fingers crossed I did for the extra point because it's so close in the championship.
Well, let's see just how close it is then. 2 points, all that separate Tom Willis and Blair McConaughey, with 2 more races to go in the championship. James Fowler's not a million miles back, but it's likely to be one of those 2 crowned the champion.
Trophies up then, guys.
So a comfortable win for Tom Willis. If he does that again next time at Silverstone, he may have one hand on that championship trophy. The Avon Tyres Caterham Road Sport Championship is in action this weekend at the scenic Donington Park circuit in the Midlands. After a trip to the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium last time out yielded 2 fantastic races, it's Stuart Bell who arrives here back in the UK as the firm championship favourite with a healthy points lead. 4 races still to go in the season though, anything could happen. This weekend it's Ben Buckley who's nabbed pole position for the first race with Stuart alongside. Twice a winner. Andrew Murgatroyd is on row 2 alongside Andy Lees, whilst Will Rossetti, with our onboard camera, is 8th on the grid, looking to make some forward progress. So the 5-second board is raised. We're about to go racing on the full Donington Park Grand Prix circuit this weekend. Red lights on, they go out pretty sharpish, and a few further back on really rapid off the line as well, and it's already almost 3 abreast for the race lead, with the blue car of Andrew Murgatroyd trying to slip between our front row starters. Ben Buckley on the left, on the right is Stuart Bell, another double winner there. Ben Lopez Appleton, the blue and white number 5 car, trying to come up the inside line. All safely through Redgate, let's hope. There's usually 1 or 2 end up in the dirt, but it looks like a clean start. Looking back now from Will Rossetti, who's just towards the tail end of the top 10 on this opening lap. Through the right at Hollywood, and then they plunge downhill through the Craner curves. A really daunting, high-speed sequence of corners. Believe it or not, though, the right-hander at the bottom of the hill, the old hairpin, is a potential overtaking opportunity. Several already taking advantage of that on the opening lap of the race. Up the hill they go then, and it is going to be, by the looks of it, Stuart Bell that's got the lead away, with Buckley down into 2nd place. Last Hoffman's up the inside of, I think that was Andy Lees, for 3rd position, and in the dirt is Will Rossetti, and as you can see from our rear-facing camera, the momentum you lose from a moment like that around this very, very momentum-based circuit at Donington Park will cost you lots and lots of positions. A glimpse there of the 22 car of Angelos Alfanos. 2nd in the championship is Angelos, but nearly 40 points behind Stuart Bell, who is currently leading the race. So Stuart is certainly going the right way about extending further his championship advantage, but it's early stages at the moment. The real battle, though, is the one for 2nd at the moment, with Ben Buckley under a lot of pressure from the cars behind, and this is allowing Bell to pull away. Lars Hoffman now pulls up around the outside of Ben Buckley, who locks up, runs a bit deep. That delays Hoffman rather, and it looked as though Ben Lopez Appleton had got up the inside of the pair of them. Alvanos is in that group as well, a little bit further back, trying to get himself into the top 5 for the time being. We're looking back at Alan Venters, the number 74 car from Will Rossetti, with plenty of cars in tow. Maxwell Lynn, I think, was the number 16 car just behind those 2. Out of the final hairpin though, and Ben Buckley has indeed dropped down out of the podium places now. He's trying to fight back up the inside of Ben Lopez Appleton for 3rd. It's Bell that leads the way, Hoffman 2nd, Buckley going back into 3rd position, or is he? Lopez Appleton right round the outside, then side by side behind as well between Andy Lees and the 84 of Andrew Murgatroyd, and they are still side by side, 2 by 2 as they go down through the Craner curves once again. This is, though, allowing the race leaders to pull away even further now, and Lars Hoffmann from 6th on the grid is into P2 and setting off after Stuart Bell. At the inside still is Lopez Appleton trying to complete this manoeuvre for 3rd, and he can't do it, and actually loses a lot of speed on the exit of the old hairpin, gets nerfed from one of the cars behind, and the Gulf liveried number 2 car, Andy Lees, I think was able to take advantage. And into McLean's go the top 2, and that gap is coming down remarkably quickly actually. Lars Alexander Hoffmann putting in a really strong pace in the early stages here to go after Stuart Bell. He's being helped, no doubt, by the fact that the cars behind are all busy tripping over each other. Looking back again from Rossetti at Alan Venters, the 74 car behind us. And we'll get a good glimpse here, hopefully, of what this slipstream does down the exhibition straight. Look at the way that Alan is closing. All of these cars, remember, are absolutely identical in performance. But you wouldn't think it by looking at that. That's just the effect that the toe has, and he's able to use that to get to the inside, but not quite complete the manoeuvre. In fact, that was Alvanos actually trying to get up the inside of Andy Lees, I believe, as they went through the chicane. At the head of the field, though, Lars Hoffmann going for the race lead up the inside of Stuart Bell. 4 into 1 further back will not go, though, and unfortunately it's Ben Buckley who gets hung out to dry in the 42 car and will lose 3 or 4 positions at least as a result of that. That was not the way that he wanted that corner to go. Replay the start, here from Will Rossetti. Tom Power, that is, the 95 car behind us, who also had a good getaway. Rossetti was pretty sharpish off the line. He's going to the outside line at Redgate, which is sometimes the best place to be, because everyone else, of course, clamours to get to the inside line, and if you go round the outside, and so you can usually carry the speed off the corner, which is exactly what he was able to do. Back to the race leaders now, then into the middle portion of the race, and back into the lead of the race is Stuart Bell, with Ben Lopez Appleton 2nd, and Ben Buckley starting this fight back now. He's almost back into the podium places. Couldn't quite take 3rd place away there from Lars Hoffmann at Redgate corner, but he's going well in the middle part of the race is Ben. He clearly has good speed this weekend. He took the pole position by all of 3/100ths of a second, but that was still one of his best qualifying efforts of the season so far. Lopez Appleton then in 2nd place, trying to challenge the race leader, back with Rossetti, who actually is not under a huge amount of pressure by the standards of his race so far, in which most of the time he's had someone tucked right underneath him. Leading group into McLean's, and we've got about 7 or 8 cars here absolutely as one, and Ben Buckley again, just as he starts to make progress, ends up losing ground. Andrew Murgatroyd at the inside there nabs 4th place away from him, and Andy Lees gets elbowed out wide by the number 9 of Harry Cook, who is on a mission because he's already actually tried to pull alongside Ben Buckley as well. No sooner had he taken that position, he was after another. For the race lead, though, are we about to see another lead change? Ben Lopez Appleton hopes so. He's going to the outside here of the race leader, Stuart Bell, but Stuart gets into the chicane first. But on the inside line, he's going to be a bit slower through the corner. That gives Lars Hoffmann a run on both of them coming off the turn, and Andrew Murgatroyd as well. We're getting down to the business end of the race now, and this is starting to get really, really intense out in front. Lopez Appleton to the outside, into the hairpin. Look at the number 9 car, Harry Cook on a real charge here. He now sees a chance to get into the podium places. He's level with Murgatroyd for 4th as they go out of the Melbourne hairpin into Goddard's, the final left-hander, which now favours Stuart Bell because he's on the inside line. Lopez Appleton slotting into 2nd, and Harry Cook round the outside still. Might just have got 4th place away here, I think. Andrew Murgatroyd, the blue and yellow car on the right-hand side of the road, might be about to lose out. So too, I fear, may Stuart Bell, because again, Lopez Appleton has a run, goes to the outside into Redgate corner. He might not try and go right round the outside, but instead focus on getting the better exit from the corner to tuck the inside through Hollywood. Angelos Alvanos there could do with gaining some more ground, couldn't he, as well? Angelos, remember, 2nd in the points. Stuart Bell, at this stage, still looking good to extend his points margin. Through Hollywood again, Alan Venters, an ever-present sight from the rearward-facing camera here on Will Rossetti's car. Those two have been locked in combat pretty much since the start of the race. There is Will's number 29 machine, one of a few Gulf liveried cars in the race, helpfully. Here comes Lars Hoffmann again for the race lead. He's got the inside line this time. Yes, he has. Lars Hoffmann is going to go through at McLean's, and, well, Stuart Bell did well there to get back in line before he lost any more ground. Up the hill again, and he's already trying to fight back for the race lead, but Coppice is not really the best place to try and make an overtake. 84 on the inside is Andrew Murgatroyd. Ben Buckley still hasn't really found his way back in line, has he? Having lost a place or two a lap ago up at the top end of the track. Stuart Bell then back alongside Hoffmann and sweeps back ahead. Every time Hoffmann gets the lead, he doesn't seem able to stay there for as long as Stuart Bell can when he's out in front. Alan Venters turning his way through the chicane and onto the Grand Prix loop yet again in what has been another fantastic encounter of the Avon Tyres Caterham Road Sports Championship, and again Lars Hoffmann goes to the outside. Look at Andy Lees there, just going where no one else did. The road is so congested in front of him that finding even a slight bit of clean air is difficult. But if anything, this lead group of cars is getting bigger and bigger now, because Andy Lees is bringing with him Angelos Alvarnos. So we could see some more changes of position here, and significant ones as well, because Angelos really needs to try and make progress now. He's been sat right at the back of this group all the way through. Bits of Caterham go flying. Down the straight then, still Stuart Bell leading the way. Lars Hoffmann, try as he might, cannot wrestle the lead away from him for more than a couple of corners at least. There's Tom Power, the 95 car, and Alvarnos behind him, so the 22 car, dark blue with the white stripe and the white roll cage. That's the one we're watching for here. He needs to try and make some places up here, because Stuart Bell, even when he loses the lead, never seems to fall any further back than second place. So you'd have to say Stuart's looking good for a podium finish here at the very least. Inside goes Harry Cook, takes place away from Ben Buckley, who now immediately tried to snap back again up the hill. Now, here we go, this is a change possibly on the cards here for second place, as Ben Lopez Appleton looks to the inside of Stuart Bell. No, Stuart again is able to fend him off. He's doing a really good job here of Stuart Bell of managing the situation in a gaggle of cars in which you'd think it would be impossible to manage the situation, because they're all trading positions and in some cases trading paint by the corner. Andy Lees on the inside there, gets past Ben Buckley. That was a real block pass, and so they'll all have a run on him again going out of the turn. Down the exhibition straight on Power trying to draw alongside, but again, look at this, Stuart Bell doesn't really care about losing the lead at the start of the lap. As long as he's in the lead at the end of the lap, that's what, on the final lap of the race, will prove to be pivotal. Going with them is Ben Lopez Appleton in third position, and there's a small gap now between the top three and everyone else behind. Lars Hoffmann, into the back of Stuart Bell as they came over the hill. Hoffmann trying to get to the inside there into the Melbourne hairpin. Now that was a scary moment for Stuart Bell, who really can't afford a non-finish. He wants to protect this championship lead, and if he can, extend it. The last thing he wants is to lose points through a non-finish, and that was very, very close indeed. He's got a bit of bodywork damage now, but that won't be more than a distraction for him, really. It shouldn't affect the performance of the car. But that, of course, has now done the job of bunching everyone back together again. So out of the final turn, across the start-finish line again. Lars Hoffmann's going to try this once more. Goes to the outside into Redgate corner. Stuart Bell to the inside line. Now, can he go right round the outside? This time he's going to try it, look. Turns into the corner. Lars Hoffmann goes to the race lead. On contact. Stuart Bell spins. Oh, and right in front of everybody else, the championship leader gets a huge, huge bit of contact from, is that Alvarnos? I think it is, Angelos Alvarnos. Would you believe it? The top two drivers in the championship, both involved, as well as Alan Venters and several others through the gravel. What a big hit this was. This got more from Tom Power. Oh, that was a really, really significant whack right in the side of Stuart Bell's car. But the red flags will fly, unsurprisingly. And what a dramatic way for that race to end. Lars Hoffmann gets through, but I think there may be a discussion about that post-race. That was a dramatic end to what had been, up to that point, a fabulous race. Well, as I suspected might be the case, a post-race disqualification for Lars Hoffmann promotes Ben Lopez Appleton to the victory, with Buckley second and Harry Cook onto the podium. Andrew Murgatroyd and Andy Lees round out the top five.
So that's not the way anyone wants to finish a race, but quite a good battle up to that point.
Up to this point, yeah, it was a good battle with Stu. Yeah, we don't know what happened.
Yeah, it was a real close racing. And I think the Road Sport series is just proving to be becoming even more competitive every single race. But yeah, there's no one's going unscathed this year, which is interesting. So really, really close racing.
Well, race two of the weekend saw Ben Buckley take the victory. However, Alvarnos and Bell were unable to start because of their damaged cars. So it's Will Rossetti who takes a 1-point lead into the final rounds. So Lars Hoffmann celebrates on the podium, but the celebration's short-lived. Who will be celebrating winning the title next time out at Brands Hatch? The penultimate round of the 2019 Avon Tyres Caterham 7 420R Championship brings us to the high-speed, sweeping Donington Park Grand Prix circuit in Leicestershire. Tim Dickens arrives here as the points leader, but has only qualified 5th on the grid, with his two big rivals, John Byrne and Henry Heaton, both ahead of him. So this is set to be another epic encounter of what's been a fairly epic season so far. There is John Byrne then, who starts from the front row of the grid from pole position with William Smith alongside him. William, not a championship contender, but definitely has the potential to win races, as we've seen already this season. Let's get ready to go racing then in bright sunny conditions here at Donington Park. 420Rs about to burst into life, bit of creeping from the mid-grid. The lights haven't changed yet. Now they have. Away they go. And who will arrive at Redgate Corner in the lead? Henry Heaton has a good start from the second row. Look, the blue number 10 car comes straight between both of the front row men, and they're 4 abreast already into the first right-hander. Looks though like it may be John Byrne that's got the race lead away. Heaton slots into second place. We're on board with Henry now, the number 10 car. He is tied with John Byrne on 201 points arriving here at Donington Park for second place in the championship, and they both want to try and take some points out of Dickens if they can. So Byrne leads at the old hairpin then. Heaton is no longer in second place because it's Justin Armstrong in his blue number 23 car who's come through into P number 2. And Heaton was working hard to hang on to that third spot as they went out of the old hairpin and through Starkeys. I think he's succeeded in doing so. These incredibly rapid 420Rs are a real spectacle to behold on the track on their own, let alone when there's a big group of them like this. Aaron Head there's got the 27 of William Smith, the orange car, on the inside. Now William started second. He gains 1 position back there through the Coppice corner, but he's only in about 8th or 9th place at the moment, so not a great start from the youngster. Byrne, though, has had his customary good start. He leads the way. Heaton back up the inside for second place, goes up the inside into the chicane of Justin Armstrong and makes the move stick. He won't want to let John Byrne out of his sight, because we've seen a few times this year that if you give John Byrne the lead at a small gap, he can usually turn that into a win by a very big margin. We did this at Spa earlier on this year. Alton Park as well, he came through from the back to win a race, so you need to be careful with John Byrne. He has the potential to get out in front and control the pace of the race really well. He needs to try and stay with him if he can. Into third has come David Henderson then. David Henderson, who arrives here 4th in the championship, and he's only about 13 points off the championship lead, so you can't count him out either in the black and red number 5 car. Heaton very much going with Byrne here then. 4th place still for the 23 of Justin Armstrong as they complete lap number 1. Slide their way through Redgate Corner. There's been a real shuffle of the order. Matt Higginson's had a good start as well. He's into the top 6 in the number 83 machine, and off into the gravel goes somebody, spat out of the mid-order. That's the 45 car that's been off, and thankfully will be able to rejoin. Chris Bates then had started 14th. He was running about 14th, I think, when he went off, but he no longer is. Got a glimpse there of the black car of Tim Dickens then, points leader in 6th place at the moment. So as things stand, he would lose the championship lead, but he's going to try and get some places back before the flag, I am sure. Team Parker Racing car of David Henderson goes through into second place then. David started this one from 12th on the grid, would you believe? Right, let's see if we can pick out what happened here at Redgate Corner. Through the corner they go, off the turn is where somebody will get spat off, and the contact is, oh there, a bit of wheel banging on the exit of the corner is what puts Chris Bates into the gravel trap at high speed, even at that relatively tight right-hander. John Byrne now starting to do what he's done so many times in the past, which is pull away from the front. He's really pushing hard though, and he's getting away now from Henry Heaton in second place. There he is. Through the right-hander at McLean's. Aaron Head's out onto the grass there, coming out of the right-hander as well. So he tries to chase down Richard Ainscough in the 58 in front of him. Then the next gaggle sees Matt Higginson ahead of Tim Dickens, and Tim Dickens really having a bit of a race to forget here. Tim has rarely been off the podium all year, but this time around at Donington Park things just don't seem to be clicking, and he's under pressure now from Alex Querbley, who goes up the inside in the number 47 car. Sees off that particular challenge, and then it's Justin Armstrong, so there's been a real mix around here because he, remember, was in our lead pack in the early stages. Down the hill into the braking zone, Dickens this time has the inside line on Matt Higginson, who is desperately late on the brakes though, manages once again to hang on to the place, or does he? Runs a bit too deep on the brakes in the end. Back up the inside goes Dickens, but the next corner is a left-hander, which means that Dickens will find himself very shortly on the outside line. So I think that Higginson was able to hold on once again. Out of the final turn, across the start-finish line we go once more, and this is the best battle in the race right now. Higginson weaving this way and that to try and keep Tim Dickens and Alex Querbley and Justin Armstrong and Russ Olivan behind. We see a move made into the first corner. Querbley there looking to the inside of Dickens, but in the end the positions stay as they were at the start of the pit straight, but they couldn't be much closer. The old hairpin goes Heaton, still under pressure from William Smith, two of our potential race winners who have themselves fading a little bit. We've got quite a few drivers, by the way, who are starting to receive warnings for track limits, one of whom is our race leader, John Burns. We'll monitor that situation. Surprisingly, the way this wasn't under investigation, lots of creeping for drives off the line, but he did then launch off that third position on the grid to almost get the lead into turn one. He found a gap, he went for it in true Caterham style, but just couldn't get to the inside line in time, so Byrne held on to the lead that he hasn't actually relinquished ever since. Right, down to Redgate Corner comes Henry Heaton. Not only does he have William Smith for company now, but two more cars are joining in the fun. Smith goes around the outside line, the inside is trying to go the number 15 of Luke Stevens. But in the end, I think they stay as they were, but that might not be the case by the time we get down to the old hairpin. This is a possible overtaking opportunity if you're really feeling brave. And it might well be the 15 car that goes for the move, and yes it does. Oh, just about finds a gap on the inside of Stevens, eases William Smith out wide over the curb, and that means that I think Richard Ainscough will have enough momentum on the exit of the corner to follow him by. He's certainly alongside William Smith as they go through Swans and into McLean's. He's got the inside line for the right-hander, and yeah, nothing that William could do there. Realised that it was best to cut his losses, duck back in line and try and set about getting back ahead of those drivers, but that's how quickly your race can unravel. You can be defending beautifully at the front of the field, but as soon as one car gets past you, there are usually another 2 or 3 minimum right behind them who will go straight through as well. Down to the chicane then, Ainscough to the outside, almost banging wheels now with Stevens as they turn through the left-hander, and that will mean that, straight away William Smith sees the chance to reclaim one of those positions, much quicker off the turn and drive straight back ahead of Ainscough. Stevens, though, now sets after Henry Heaton. Now, these are points that Henry Heaton can little afford to give away. However, he will be happy to hear that John Byrne, runaway race leader, has been given a 45-second track limits penalty, which means that David Henderson will actually come home the winner of the race, remarkably. Out of the final corner is about to come Henry Heaton, but he too, we're hearing, is being given a 5-second track limits penalty. So in second place will actually be Luke Stevens after a brilliant drive, having come right through the field to finish on the podium. Aaron Head's on the grass coming out of Goddard's for the final time, so Matt Higginson will get past him on the run to the flag. Well, a topsy-turvy race, and with track limits penalties affecting title contenders there, that will have shuffled up the points for sure. So Henderson wins it, Stevens seconds, with William Smith ending up on the podium ahead of Richard Ainscough. Heaton is 5th with his penalty, whilst John Byrne ends up 15th.
I thought I had pace from testing and stuff, but 11th is hard work. I was worried about John getting away. Made a good start. I think I came round in 5th on the first lap. Spent the race watching him pick up track penalties. That was it, really.
At last we got a podium. To be honest, I thought we had the pace to win it at the start, and we got to the front, and twice I was put on the grass. My door's been shut fairly firmly, but I've been there, I've done it, so it's Caterham racing. But yeah, really pleased to finally get on the podium.
Well, John Byrne and Henry Heaton arrived at Donington Park tied on points, and they leave tied on points now for the championship lead after Byrne won race 2. The top 4, though, are covered by 2 points with just 2 races to go. Well, a fabulous weekend of racing here at Donington Park. Be sure to join us next time for the championship decider at Brands Hatch.